Michelle from Straw-Bearie.com. I'm a teacher, I'm a crafter, and I'm a DIYer. And today we're going to transform a regular boxy men's t-shirt into something just a little bit cuter.
I picked up this book about t-shirts at Half Price Books a couple of years ago, and I've referred to it many different times as I've been doing some t-shirts. It's called Generation T, 108 Ways to Transform a T-shirt. And I have put like little scraps of paper and post-it notes on some of my styles that I kind of liked that I was going to use as a reference. In the back of the book, there's also some blank t-shirts where you can kind of draw your own pattern and what you're going to do and have that design right there in the book. So that's kind of cool. So I have drawn out what I want. I'm going to ruche the sides, I'm going to ruche the shoulders, and I'm going to have a V-neck on my shirt. So I got a size larger than my normal t-shirt size to make sure that I would have a little extra room to do this. And the first step is to cut up the side of the shirt from the bottom of the shirt to the armpit. And you're going to want to do that on both sides. Next, you're going to flip the shirt inside out so that the right sides are together. And then you're going to pin, or I'm using some clips that are used for quilting, your edges together. And with the t-shirt, one of the edges is going to want to roll on you. So it's going to be a little bit kind of painful when you go to sew this, but just take your time and you can do it. So I'm clipping my edges together, and I'm going to sew this with a fairly large seam allowance, about 3/4 of an inch on each side. So it's kind of like you're just taking the shirt in like it's really big. Make sure to snip all of your threads very short and then do the other side of the shirt the same way. The next step is you are going to sew down those seam allowances right near the edge so that you're creating a pocket or a tube right there on both sides of the seam that you just made. So you're going to very carefully lay it flat, stick it in your sewing machine, and sew as close as you can right to that edge, all the way from the bottom to the top. Then at the top, so you want to make sure that you leave it open, do not close it up, and then sew the other side from the top to the bottom. And of course, do the same thing on both sides of the shirt. I bought this huge thing of elastic for making masks for the coronavirus, and by the time it actually arrived, I really wasn't making masks anymore. I was just making them to donate to the hospitals and the medical field who didn't have enough masks, and now you can buy masks pretty easily and cheaply. Anyway, so what I'm doing here is I took a safety pin and pinned it through my elastic, and then I started at the bottom, and you stick it in and you scrunch the fabric up, and then you pull the fabric back and you move the pin up a little bit to thread that elastic through. So you're going to go up one of those casings, across the top right under the armpit, and then down the other side. So you're going to need a piece of elastic that's a little longer, I would say, than your shirt times two. So up your shirt and down your shirt twice plus a little extra. Now when you get down to the bottom, you can just tie them together like I'm about to do. You do not have to use elastic. You can use ribbon or string or whatever you happen to have. Elastic kind of helps hold it a little bit better, but it doesn't have to be elastic. The elastic or the ribbon or whatever you use, it just helps with the ruching and helps you to scrunch up the shirt on the sides so that it gives it a little bit more of a fun look to it. So just cut your elastic so that it's not too long when you're done, and tie those two pieces together and do the same thing on the other side. So I'm laying out my shirt and I'm kind of determining where I want that V-neck. The logo on the shirt's a little high, so I know that I can't go in a really deep, deep V on my shirt. And so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to cut that collar off, and I'm just cutting all the way around the collar just as close as I can. By the way, I drive a Jeep, and this is a Jeep shirt about going topless. The Going Topless event got canceled for COVID-19, but our local group already had the shirts. So shout out to Five Hills Jeeps, and we're going to hopefully have our own little celebration in July. Social distancing, of course, when we're able to get out and about again. All right, so once I've cut through the whole collar, now I'm going to start on the shoulder ruching. And that's basically the same as we did for the side of the shirt. So I'm just going to cut that seam. Now, if you wanted to, you could use a seam ripper and cut that seam out, but that's too much work. So I'm just cutting straight through that seam, and then I'm going to cut off where it was sewn together. Because that's just easier to cut out that extra little fabric right there. And you're going to just basically go through the exact same steps that we did for the sides. So you're going to sew these two pieces together, leaving a wide seam allowance, and then you're going to sew those sides down and feed your elastic through just like we did on the sides. Now I'm going to make the V of my shirt, of my neckline. So I'm going to start by finding the very center of my shirt, and I'm going to use my scissors and cut straight down to where I want the tip of the V to be. Then I'm going to push the pieces together so that I know that they're even and all. I'm going to turn my shirt inside out, fold those over evenly, the same amount on each side, and then I'm just going to stitch down my V all the way around from there and in on the back, just to give it a finished edge. Now, you definitely don't have to do this. You could just actually cut out a V, and that would be fine because t-shirt fabric's not going to fray on you, but I wanted a little bit more of a finished look. And then once I sew it down, then I'm going to cut off the extra little flaps of fabric that I left there. And ta-da! My shirt is done. I really like the look of it. It gives a lot more interest to just a plain boxy men's t-shirt. I hope that you'll give this a try.
So here is the final shirt. So I have the elastic on the sides, which I can pull and rouge as much as I want or don't want. And then I can like just tie it in a little knot and then tuck it under. Again, you can make this with ribbons or ties and just tie them there, and that would look really cute. I have the ruching on the shoulders, and then I have the V-neck, and I think that it turned out pretty darn cute. If you like this t-shirt, or if you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe, tell your friends, and have a great day. Toodles!